Well, in order to celebrate AFA, our series Alumni in Action today features Travis Martin. Travis, welcome. And to get us started off, just talk about your journey and where you are today.
Yeah, Tyne, thanks for having me. Background on where I'm at today. So I'm lucky enough to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, me and my wife and our 1-year-old. And in terms of my career in the industry, today I cater and contract with a variety of different ag tech startups in a marketing and communications capacity, while on the side run a little ag newsletter called Magnetic that we're growing kind of as the next generation of news, kind of for the next generation.
Well, Travis, when you look at your journey, you kind of took an untraditional path. So you didn't start out doing this. Talk about what you did upon graduation and how that kind of led to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm a proud Purdue Boilermaker graduate, and I've been out of school now for about 7 years. And when I first came out, I went through a more traditional corporate agriculture path. So I went to Legacy Dow Agri-Sciences, where I spent some time in sales before I moved over to Elanco Animal Health. My background coming from a family of pork producers, it made sense, and ended up doing some really interesting strategic customer projects there. And those were awesome experiences, great companies with great cultures. But through that time, I found that I was always sort of leaning towards the innovative things going on in the companies. And that essentially led me to going and leaving more of a corporate setting and working for ag tech startups. And so from there, it then kind of became, networking in the industry. You get a lot of contacts, and suddenly you have a variety of different folks and entrepreneurs from different parts of the industry wanting to work with me.
Well, I know you thoroughly enjoyed your time in AFA and through that journey, but how did that time and that experience help with where you are today?
Yeah, it's one of those things where AFA, as you think about kind of the progression, growing up in the industry and then getting into college and going to the Leaders Conference, it's kind of the one-stop shop of where the leaders are at. And I think about, going through Purdue and then being out in the industry for years. Those are relationships that I had, 10 years ago was when I went to Track One, that I still very much have today. And they're the same kind of people that I work for, right? So very like-minded, ag-focused young folks who are now starting companies in the industry that are kind of at the forefront of what folks are trying to do. And so, yeah, it's interesting and it's fun because I get to work with friends, but those relationships were built kind of during those early days of college, during, programs like AFA.
Yeah, well, obviously being an entrepreneur, that's at the base of everything that you do today. So how did AFA kind of help you master maybe some of those entrepreneurial skill set that is really helping you in your career today?
Yeah, AFA, when you go to Leaders Conference, has a variety of different sessions, right? Everything from how do you become a better self-manager to, leadership development skills. And it can get really granular. I think what AFA did for me was essentially figure out, okay, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be really disciplined, right? Because there's no one looking over your shoulder. And you ultimately have a pretty big hand in the success that you're going to have. And so just the skill set, I think, that I was taught there, and then I kind of took with me as I was going through Purdue. And then as I got into my career, right, time kind of allows the pinwheel to happen. You become more and more disciplined from that approach. I think that's a big key to kind of how I've been able to get to where I'm at.
Did AFA play a role in that, Travis?
For sure. One of the first experiences I remember from AFA is you go there and you get booked with a roommate from another school, right? So you're immediately engaging with someone you've probably never met before. And so I think about, right, just the ability to quickly build rapport, build relationships, learn about someone else, their interests, and try to find kind of those mutual points of interest. Those are things, building those relationships among hundreds of students at a conference like AFA Leaders Conference is something, I definitely took away.
Alumni in Action, a journey of where he is today. Travis Martin, thanks so much.
Thanks, Jen.